Hello, and a very warm welcome to another of our video podcasts. This one is called Learn to Love the Foods That Love You. And we're talking plant foods. Now, plant foods have become big business, and you can hardly move now without a scientist telling you all about the microbiomes, the composition of your own gut, and how important the gut is, and how having a healthy gut can protect you against all sorts of illnesses. This is really important. And why are plant foods so special? Well, because they don't harm us, quite apart from anything else. And many experts would say, well, you don't really need anything other than plant foods. For myself, I feel that I like to supplement my diet with things like eggs and fish, and I feel that way I get sufficient protein, but we're all different. And what I would urge you to do now is, as you're developing the new you, eating more healthily and so on, experiment to see what does work for you. There's no doubt that if you have a very plant-based diet, your system becomes very much more efficient. I feel that I feel more lively, energetic. For me, including more plant foods has been a definite plus. So I'd like to share that with you in the hope that you might feel the same. Now, if you're watching this and you say, I hate vegetables and I hate salad, and you might be saying that even if you're a woman, but certainly the men amongst you might well be saying that, experiment. There's so much that is called a plant food. Let me think about plant foods that you might not immediately have in your sort of main consciousness. The purpleness of a decent aubergine, the orangey sort of lovely rich colour of a sweet potato, the greenness of spinach or broccoli, golden sweet corn and so on. And I say these in particular because colour seems to be very important. I'm not an expert, and I am not sure that the colour themselves make us feel better, or whether it is that if you've got a range of colour on your plate, your spirits rise, and therefore, because you're feeling optimistic and whatever, your digestion is better and so forth. I don't know. But scientists do say the natural compounds that give fruit and veg their colour is good for us. And I'm certainly not going to argue with that because they know a lot more about it than I do. So you may have heard that the recommendation now is nothing like 5 a day. The recommendation from many scientists is get 30 different plant foods into your diet every week. You might throw up your hands in horror at this and go, oh, how can I possibly do that? And won't it be very expensive? Well, let me tell you that getting 30 plant foods in is not as difficult as you think because so many things qualify. For example, I've got a giant size of oats here because I eat porridge practically with everything. But for variation of those sort of things, you've got quinoa, you've got pearl barley, which is a very good alternative to rice. It sort of gives you a plumper kind of risotto. Rice, lentils, all of those sort of things. Olive oil, obviously, is a plant food. An orange of that type is different from like a big Jaffa orange, so they would probably count as 2 separate ones. So here we've got 3, lots of fruit. Here, though, we've got some nuts. Now, these happen to be cashews. If you had a bag of mixed nuts and you had in it hazelnuts, walnuts, maybe almonds, each of them qualifies as being a separate plant food. So can you see, it's not that difficult to build up 30 in a week. Raisins, we've got here. Raisins are different from other dried fruit, prunes and sultanas and whatever. And here we've got dried figs, which I really love, and they're supposed to be full of very, very good things. And they are, of course, different from dates and whatever. So if you were thinking perhaps in terms of, well, I could make a risotto for lunch, maybe you do it with pearl barley, and maybe you'd put in it some green beans, some peas, some sweet corn, some onions. You could easily be clocking up 6 different plant foods in just one meal. And I do think that this is something that we can all do. Plants have got a justifiably good reputation, an increasingly good reputation. And one of the things for you, particularly if food has always been a bit of a problem for you, is if you have a plate and you pile it high with all sorts of good plant foods, and obviously pick the ones that you like, then there's less room on that plate for a giant slab of pizza or a big vegetable pie or a big steak and kidney pie or whatever. I'm not saying you should forego all the foods that you actually like, not at all. But what I am saying is, if you fill your plate with lots of plant foods, they're fibrous, they're good for you, they fill you up, and they will help you in your quest to live a healthier and thinner life. See you soon.